On the plus side, whenever I'm no longer a manager, I can just bang all the people on my team that I want to bang.
Why could you not do that before?
No, because I'm their boss.
But now there's not the implication.
Now there's no kinky. I was thinking that myself, but I feel like if they want to bang me that much, they should look past me not being their boss anymore. Just go for it.
That's like, yeah, you like bang me, or like you're not going to explicitly say bang me or I'll fire you, because that's not the case. You won't fire them, but
you got to be subtle about it.
But
yeah.
The implication is there. You're not going to fire them. That's fine, but the implication happens.
No, this is going to fire them.
Just target the ones that you know are being made redundant. Bam.
Yeah.
Be there as a shoulder to cry.
I'll just be like, maybe if you sleep with me, I can try and save your job. And
they'll be like, I've got lots of money from being a manager. I can support both of us.
Yeah, this definitely won't be going before the episode.
Yeah, fuck.
God damn. Actually, can go fuck himself. It's actually really funny because now they're going on some sort of big manhunt to figure out who leaked the information.
Bet it was.
But this is the thing, only the higher-ups knew about it, so it's not exactly an exhaustive list that they need.
I'm sure there was someone taking the minutes of that meeting, and then someone else had to type up those minutes.
Maybe was sleeping with the secretary and she got annoyed.
Yeah.
And now she's going to also lose her job because of the implication.
You know what, if you're listening to this,
he's not.
You're a bald cunt.
He's not.
And I hope you fucking die of cancer.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
I hope you lose your job next.
Well, I mean, that's really
you die of starvation.
Because he's lost his job? Or because then that's really poor, like, financial savings on his part if he loses his job and instantly starves to death.
Clearly it is, if he's having to axe things to save money.
It's not coming out of his own pocket.
Fucking might as well be. He's acting like it is, the way he's cutting jobs.
Do you know what the solution is, Hans? Be more profitable.
The solution is the final solution, where I gas.
Oh, Jesus. Right.
Can I say that with a name like Hans?
No,
I feel like I can't.
I'm sick of people listening to our YouTube channel in work and being like, Nick, why is your brother so racist? It happens like on a weekly basis now.
To be honest, this isn't racism. This is anti-Semitism.
They already think we're Nazis.
No, Hans is right. It's not really racism.
But like, I'm so sick of being called a Nazi.
But I'm saying I'm going to gas.
Stop saying solution.
Hey,
I'm not. But for all we know, isn't Jewish. I mean,
is a Nazi.
I mean, he's as frugal as one, but but he might not be.
You know, I'm beginning to think the guys in work are right.
This has got nothing to do with you. This is between me and alright?
You and big
dick over there.
Big dick is right. It's weird to think I had to have a discussion with one of my colleagues about the social media policy the other day, and I'm sitting here doing this.
Will you edit this?
Yeah, you can edit this out.
Oh no, it's that end. Fuck them.
Well, you can always wait until you find out if you have a job or not, and then you can leave it in.
Yeah, I'll get signed off. Because obviously this won't be posted until after my assessment tomorrow. So I'll get signed off, and then I'll post it.
Yeah, see how that goes for you.
They would actually have to watch the fucking video for me to get in trouble.
I know that would almost double the view count.
Disgruntled manager goes off on one during internet video.
Did I tell you about my "Are we the bad guys" bit that I had yet the other day? Well, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Do you know the like Mitchell Webb skit where like they're the Nazis and they look at each other like, "Are we the bad guys?" Someone brought up a news story. There was like, "Oh, there's an oil spill and like caused damage," and then I thought, we make like software specifically for oil and gas companies, and I just looked at my friend and was like, "Are we the bad guys?" I mean, is this all our fault?
If you're not doing your job properly and directly causing it to happen, yeah, probably. If an eco-terrorist is going to come bomb your office, probably not. You know the way... This is so fucking... You know the way a Middle Eastern terrorist would shout, Is it Allah Akbar before pressing the detonation
I'm not
button?
sure that they do. I think that's just...
Neither am I, but Hans, just keep run with it, sure.
What would an eco-terrorist shout before they blew themselves up?
Why would they blow themselves up?
I
That
don't
harms
think
the
that's what
environment.
terrorists do.
You don't know. It's a terrorist. They blew themselves up.
No.
That's not
Because
true.
that would set stuff on fire, which creates smoke, which then harms the environment.
I just like, what do you think? It's just like, meet us murder, or I don't know, stop global warming.
First of all, right, we're going to go back to the fact that they're not going to blow themselves up, Hans. We're going to address that issue first, and then we'll deal with
And then we'll get on to the racism, the fact that all terrorists blew themselves up.
I miss Iowa. He stays normal.
He does. He just says quiet. He's just like, nope, not touching that.
So, Nick, I hear you're a massive Nazi.
Yep.
By association.
Mazzy, if you will.
I'm Matt. Sounds like a car.
I'm an absolute unit of a Nazi.
Hail Hitler.
God damn it. If we were like more famous, I would have you going "Hail Hitler" as my ringtone. Just it would be really funny.
I think we do racism well.
That's
There's a playfulness
No.
to our racism.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Not So Super Bash Presents Game Club for January 2019. Yes! Back from the dead, Game Club is here. Your monthly video podcast review thing where we take turns picking games, go play them for the month, and come back and discuss them for your listening pleasure. This month, I picked Dragon Age Inquisition from BioWare, and as always, I am your host, Nick Davis. Joined by Hans Davis.
What about you?
And joined by Alex Proudfoot.
I'm really disappointed.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
I thought, I was just like, why is there no nicknames?
Yeah.
That was the only thing I could think to do with Spanish or Inquisitions.
Oh, do you know what I should have checked for? A mod to change like the coat of arms to the Spanish Inquisition.
Actually, did you actually play with any mods?
Yes.
No, cool. I didn't.
Do you want me to tell you what mods I played with, Hans?
We'll get into that later.
Okay.
So how is everyone?
See the preamble for that, for my thoughts. Tell you exactly how the fuck I'm feeling.
Let's not get into this again. Yes, Dragon Age Inquisition from BioWare. The open
Games.
world... No, I think it's just BioWare.
BioWare games.
The open world action RPG originally released in November 2014 on PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
X.
This game's 5 years old?
Yep.
It doesn't... That's... Wow.
Holds up
Like,
well.
yeah, this
Holds
came
up
out
well.
with like the start of the new console generation.
Flip me.
Holds up better than Origins.
Fuck, yeah, that's what
We'll get into that. But yes, I picked Dragon Age Inquisition completely unbeknownst to me. Mere days before they announced Dragon Age 4.
that's Dragon Age 4?
Yeah. Did you not see this, huh?
No!
They totally announced Dragon Age 4 at the Game Awards.
Is it... I saw they announced it, but I didn't look into it at all.
It was literally just a very,
teaser?
very
So there's
brief
like nothing to
trailer.
do.
Yeah.
Is it called Dragon Age 4, or is that just kind of the project name for it?
The code name for it at the minute is the Dreadwolf Rises. Dragon Age. I picked it because I've loved the Dragon Age games. I've loved more or less every game BioWare has put out, and I'd never really given Dragon Age Inquisition a fair shot. I had attempted to start playing it multiple times, I'd say, and kind of got sidetracked by other games every single time. Not for any fault of Dragon Age Inquisitions, I don't think. It was just maybe... It was kind of the game I kept falling back to whenever I had nothing else to play, and then something new would come out, and I'd jump on that instead.
It's like me with Assassin's Creed games at the minute.
Yeah, so I wanted an excuse to actually sit down and finish Dragon Age Inquisition, which I did.
Ooh.
Hans, how far did you get?
I got halfway through, but I have completed it before.
Alex Proudfoot,
I
how
destroyed
far
it.
did you? Jesus.
I absolutely annihilated that game.
Did you like nearly 100%
Yes.
Fair play.
Fair balls, dude.
That's a big game.
It is a big game.
Oh, Alex, out of interest,
Yes.
do you have your R count handy on Origin? Or what at least what your save file was?
I think it was 70.
That's less than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I thought it would have been like me with The Witcher, which is like sitting at 120 hours at this point.
But yes, as the listeners are not aware, I did not play much of Dragon Age, so did not feel he would be able to contribute much to the conversation, and sat out. He got distracted playing other games,
What a bitch.
namely Call of Duty.
What the fuck?
What? Did you not hear this? We all bought Call of Duty. Don't ask.
I kind of want to cancel the channel now, I'm not going to
Right.
lie. I'm really
Right,
disgusted
to
in
be
these all.
fair, there was a free trial for a week for the Battle Royale mode, which is why we kind of got into it. And you know what? Probably the best Battle Royale mode out there. So, as always, I have split this into 3 categories.
Is it always 3?
It is
always-
always.
You might want to mix
3.
that up a bit.
No, man. Structure. It's important.
Is it?
Things come in threes. It's a writing rule.
Ah, okay.
Gameplay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Story and characters.
Damn, Skippy.
And the future of Dragon Age.
Fuck.
Alright. Yeah, sure. So let's kick right into it with gameplay.
Are you going to talk about mods here?
Yeah, sure. I will bring up that I played this with, I think, 3 mods.
What were they?
They were 1, removed the looting animation.
Yep.
Oh, fuck, yes.
That's what I played with. After the first 10 minutes, I googled, can you remove the loot animation? Instantly installed that mod.
Also, can I just add, what absolute dickhead thought it was a good idea to put interact and jump on the same button? Because every time I was like,
Oh yeah, okay. You played with the controller, didn't you?
yeah, I
Oh,
did.
okay, I did not.
But like, you can see the conceptual flaw there, right?
Yes, yep.
I also played with remove the mission timers.
Oh, I didn't do that.
So every table mission completes instantly.
The warboard, yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually not a bad. That's a pretty
It
decent
was
one.
amazing.
No, I didn't do that.
And I also played with no fog of war on the maps, because I don't know.
I didn't do that either.
So what ones did you play with, Alex? Just the
Loot animation.
is that it?
Yeah.
The no fog of war wouldn't bother me.
But you gotta explore, man.
Yeah, it was no, that doesn't bother me.
See, the no fog of war was cool because while it showed you the entire of the map on the minute when you hit everything was still a question mark. It didn't reveal what the things were, so I still had that aspect of exploration.
Question marks are too much information.
I think it's a case of like, because although it doesn't delve into it as much as say Far Cry 5 and stuff, dude, it does kind of do that exploration quite organically. Like there is question marks on the map, but you can find stuff like lying on the ground or talk to people, and it actually does reveal what those question marks are then. So it's not just a case of just like, here's 110,000 markers on your map, go explore them all. Unless you're Nick, in which case it is like that, because you just unveiled everything.
Yeah.
Great. So the core, probably worth going into the core gameplay conceit of Dragon Age is it's very similar to the previous 2 games. You are going out into these large open scale areas, similar to, I'd say, The Witcher 3, where instead of one massive open world, it's a handful of distinct large areas rather than a massive open world. And you're going out there, you're gathering power and influence for the Inquisition, so that power and influence is essentially your stopgaps to doing the story missions. Of which there's not a lot. I was kind of shocked, but yeah, there's like 9 story missions in the whole game.
Yeah, that surprised me. I thought I was leaving a lot of the game out to do all the side stuff, and then it's like, nope.
Like, yeah, literally, like, every story mission is kind of just you activate it from the map. And, like, that's not saying that they are short missions. They are, like, hefty, long missions, each of them. But I was kind of shocked by how small, or, like, how few of number they were. One of the biggest issues I had with the whole game, and that is kind of the actual structure of the areas. Dragon Age Inquisition feels like it takes a lot of cues from MMOs with just the way the quests are kind of handled and the way combat is and the way even just the areas are laid out. A lot of the quests are just simple, walk up, quickly interact with something, and then take that interaction somewhere, and that's it. Like, with very little unique dialogue, very little unique enemies or anything for each of the quests. Yeah, even choices are very limited, which is kind of shocking for a Dragon Age
game.
Even a BioWare game in general, that's quite shocking. But even as far as, I think, the gameplay itself, like, in terms of the combat, is very MMO-esque, and I think it really didn't click with me. I thought a lot of the combat was very straightforward, and, like, the most thinking I ever had to do for combat was, I should probably use my barrier now, and that was about it.
Yeah, compared to previous games, I did think it was a lot more simplistic, the combat. For the term of, like, normally, like, I remember on Dragon Age Origins and a little bit in Dragon Age 2, I would always kind of have to look up about how I would set the AI for, like, my actual other companions. Like, you know, like, okay, it is Origins, I think, where you can, like, okay, so your first thing to do in combat is target a ranged person.
Oh, yeah.
And, like,
similar
that sort
to
of thing.
the Final Fantasy 12 stuff, where it's like you could set up, like, essentially the AI, like, routine for your companions. And, if someone's at 80%, or if an enemy's at 80%, taunt them, stuff like that.
I was saying to Nick and I, the one thing that annoyed me was you could have additional potion slots, but you couldn't set it up so the AI automatically took them.
Yeah.
They would only automatically take the health potions, which is annoying.
So that was probably my biggest gripe with kind of, like, and you can even see it in this because if you go to, I believe it's behaviors, there only has like 4 options in it, and it's usually pretty much all to do with potions. There's very little about, target ranged enemies or stuff like that.
It's not. It's not. I wouldn't say it's that. It's more like, as well, they have very predefined behaviors. Like you can kind of say, all right, be mana hungry or whatever. Like you can say, all right, really blow through your mana, or like, okay, only use your mana in critical situations and stuff like that. Like they seem to have really
slimmed it back. Yeah,
and I think that depth of it.
That kind of bothered me because you can't really make an actual character build, if you will.
Yeah, you're kind of just relying on the AI doing what you hope it's going to do.
Yeah. So that was kind of probably my biggest gripe. I feel like, the combat's just not as in-depth as it once was.
As well, apart from that, I also do feel like the combat is just kind of dull. Like,
yeah,
I think there's not a lot of enemy variety in the entire game. Like,
no.
And what, like, that's not saying like you do fight a lot of, like, there's different spirits and all, but very few of them require you to deal with anything that, like, unique
in a different way.
Like, they're all like, the most you kind of get is, you'll meet these demons that can dive into the ground, and if you don't move away from where they're going to dive out, you get stunned for a little bit. It's, like, a lot of the enemy variety is very lacking. Like, and while, like, there's a lot of different types of enemies, they all act the same way is the problem.
Or you could do the pro strat of dispelling the demons before they get summoned in for the second move, which I managed to do for all but one on Rifts.
One thing that kind of got me as well was that you're pretty much front loaded with all the types of enemies right away. They don't really gradually build up and introduce new ones and new ones and new ones. It's just like, here they all are. The only real time you see kind of a new one is when you lose Haven. And
you see the Red Templars.
The Red Templars and stuff like that. Yeah. That's the only real time you kind of see that new enemy. Also, giants and dragons.
Yep.
Yeah, like those are kind of the two big different enemy types, but like they are very few and far between in the game.
Yeah,
11 dragons with the DLC.
Yeah, like there's kind of one dragon per area, bar I think one area has 3, maybe?
There's one area with 3 or 4 and then another area with 3. So there's like 2 areas with multiple dragons.
The dragon fights are pretty epic though.
Yeah, the dragon fights are really cool. It's just, but like, it's a shame that those kind of moments in combat don't then spread to the ordinary enemies every so often. Like, I'm not asking for every combat encounter to be unique, but at least try and mix it up a little more than just, I've encountered a group of people on the road.
It's really disappointing.
Sit here and hold R.
Whenever you kill the last dragon, and then you realize I can't fight another dragon. Like that's it. Like even with the DLC, which has the hardest dragon in the game, it's just like, wow, there's only 11 dragons. Yeah,
it seems to be that with the combat, they're taking it's more if you look at it, if you have Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2, it's definitely more towards the Dragon Age 2 bit, where they're trying to be more action RPG rather than RPG. And I think that's why they put in the tactical cam, was more not because it's extra challenging, or it would have been extra challenging, because it's like a play it your way sort of thing. Like you maybe you like RPGs, we'll put that in there for you. Maybe you prefer hack and slash, we'll put that in for you. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm still kind of nitpicking. Like at no point, although the combat was a bit boring, I wasn't disgustingly bad. You know, it didn't make me go oh fuck this is unplayable. It was just, it did lack a bit of challenge.
I feel like if they had went the origin route of giving you more than, you know, however many abilities they let you put on your bar, what was it, 8?
Yeah.
Because you could put like multiple bars in Origins and have like everything. And having 8 abilities in this game where you're given abilities for free as part of the story, it kind of like pushed into having a very specific playstyle and almost punished for changing it up. Because I find that once you get level 10 specialties, if you don't invest in the specialty, you're losing out on a massive power jump.
Yeah, I'd say because those, like, the first one you get, which is that Area of Effect spell, like, it'll one-hit demons pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, for clearing a rift, it's pretty much OP.
So, like, there's one of your spells gone. If you're a mage, you have to have the shield. There's 2. And you're probably going to take the AoE reds as well.
Right. So. Yeah, I'll say, like, I only... when I was playing, I was a mage, and I want to say I used 4 spells the entire game. I used the magic missile thing, I used the chain lightning, I used the barrier, and I used the AoE, like, Inquisitor one, and that was it. Didn't use any other spells, because none of them seemed needed. I was tearing through people with that combination of spells.
Whenever I picked the blade mage, your auto attacks powered up the blade, and the magic missile counts as auto attacks, so literally my whole attack on my mage was magic missile, blade, magic missile.
I didn't even unlock any of the specialties because I didn't need them, because I felt like I was tearing through enemies anyway. But yes, the one last thing I want to kind of touch on the gameplay wise is, I mentioned the areas are these kind of massive, large areas rather than one massive world. And while I think that's cool and it lets them like kind of design, each area has a better theme than I think it would if it was one interconnected world.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like a lot of the areas are very sparse with things to actually do.
I mean, a desert's a desert. Yeah. It's kind of going to have to be sparse, Nick.
But like, even like, I think the hinterlands are a very boring area, like with not a lot, like, there's not a lot to actually do in hinterlands.
I like the hinterlands because of the civil war between the Templars and the Mages.
But that's just, like, that's fine. That's the story side of things. But I think like the actual area itself is boring as fuck. I think a lot of the areas aren't, 1, visually appealing, or 2, aren't
the hinterlands
interesting to get around.
Quite cool things in it. It's got like the mercenary castle to the south. It's got
like the battlefield, like the wrecked battlefield down at the, is it like the east or something?
Like, yeah, like the hinterlands is probably one of the better areas, but I think I think the Storm Coast is probably the coolest area just because I think it looks the coolest. But because
it looks like the Jan's Causeway.
Kinda, yeah. What's the
Forbidden Oasis?
No, the one with the fucking where you lower the like water level.
Oh shit, I can't remember.
They weren't interesting to get around, and they weren't interesting to look at, which are 2 of the worst like combinations you can have when you're designing a world.
In terms of the worlds, I actually kind of disagree. I quite like them.
Yeah, no, I liked them enough to complete all of them. So
I felt like they were very reminiscent of MMO worlds, where each area had its own particular theme. Although there wasn't really maybe there wasn't much stuff to do in them, there was like, I think Fallout calls it, like environmental stories going on. Like, so like, although you can't really interact with them, you know, you had the Civil War, so like you could see the ramp, like there's that tunnel which is just south in the hinterlands, just south of the first village, and it takes you out in that battlefield, and like you can see like all the ballistas and stuff all aimed at that, and all the bodies and stuff. Same with like the Fallen Mire, you know, the zombie level. Like you'll go through and you can see all like the old towns that have kind of been taken away, and all the you go into the water and the zombies will continue to spawn as long as you disrupt the water. So I thought like each one had its own charm to it. And like not all, like some of them did feel like maybe a slight copy and paste job. Like not all of them felt particularly distinguishable, but I thought most of them stood out as being pretty unique.
Yeah, it's not even like they're massive. Some of them are actually relatively small when you compare them to like the hinterlands and
like the Storm Coast. It's quite small,
and some of the DLC maps are actually quite big, but they have a lot of stuff in them. Going back to the whole MMO thing, I feel like if they had went full out MMO combat style and just added another toolbar or action bar.
You're really hooked up with this toolbar.
I am, because...
Do you honestly feel like you were going to use more than 8 abilities, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, the combat wasn't that challenging.
I really don't. Like
if the combat was more challenging, yes, 100%, you probably would have, but it wasn't that tough.
Because you also burn through, like, your mana and stuff really quickly. Like...
No.
By the time I used 2 of my spells, I had no mana left.
I had so many passives. Like, I targeted the mana passives. And so I could basically infinite cast because the blade cost very little mana, and I could cast any other spell. If I stood still, I would get the mana back pretty quickly. So if I stood near enemies as well, I got mana back on top of that. So I had a lot of passives taking over that got me mana back, and I would have loved to do like the freeze combo where you throw down a blizzard to freeze everyone and then you do the basic freeze to shatter and destroy people. But yeah, it's just, what's the point in putting action points into stuff that you're not going to put in your bar?
Although the combat is a bit boring, visually I do think it looks quite cool.
Yeah,
like I think like the wizards that you fight and like they do like a jump spell where they like turn into pages and like jump across the area. Like that's all very cool, and like me as a two-handed warrior spinning around like a Beyblade in the middle of the fray is pretty cool. So I think actually visually, I do think the combat looks really good. I suppose we should maybe touch on the technical side and gameplay, should we? Yeah. I think the game, like, I'm surprised this game came out 5 years ago. Now, do not get me wrong, there is a lot of jank, a lot of clipping through clothing, which seems very unpolished, and I don't know what setting it was, but the first 2 sessions I played of this, it ran like pig shit, and I don't know what setting it was, because I reset it to default and it sorted it out. Like, I had entire mountains popping in the distance. That's how bad some of the settings were. But I think technically, visually, I still think it's quite good.
Yeah. I also think like it is. I have minor technical complaints with it, more about some choices they made, like the game being locked at 30 during cutscenes.
So yeah, I would say on the technical side, bar a little bit of jank. Yeah, just kind of thought it was solid.
I honestly thought this game came out in like 2016.
Yeah, 5 years old kind of blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie.
Another BioWare game came out in 2016.
Andromeda?
Yeah, it did.
Fucking single-handedly killed Mass Effect. I played that too, actually. Played that to completion.
I don't think I've played Mass Effect 3 yet.
Hey Nick, stick it on your list.
I'm pretty sure Mass Effect 2 is already on my list of my game club ideas.
Just like Danganronpa V3 somewhere. Coming this summer.
Any last gameplay thoughts before we move on?
No, I'm like a little bit boring, but overall not enough to put me off of it.
Oh yeah, like overall, like I don't think it was egregiously bad. It was just dull a lot of the time. Yeah. So story and characters, kind of the big selling point for a lot of BioWare games. And personally, I absolutely love the story. And compared to maybe not the first one as much, but especially the second one, this felt like suitably high stakes for what would turn out to be like kind of what a lot of people expect to be the last Dragon Age game for a long time, and probably still will be, I'd say, for another couple of years. Yeah, and it was really cool as also someone who's like a massive fan of the other Dragon Age games. They went to areas that you hear people talk about a lot, namely like Orlais gets mentioned a lot in the first 2 games, and it's cool to actually finally go to that area and see what the crack is.
Fake France.
Yeah.
Do you know what I love mostly about the Dragon Age games? Is that they have had 3 massive disasters. So the Darkspawn coming back, the Mage Uprising, and then the Rifts, all in the space of, 10 years?
Yeah.
Like, why do people still live in fucking Ferelden?
Yeah.
Where else are they gonna go, man?
Like, Olay!
It's not much better.
Much nicer destination fucking than Darkspawn. Is there actually, do you fight Darkspawn in this game?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, sorry.
They fight the exact same as everyone else.
Yeah, I know they do. But I think the story, you're right, it's such a grander scale. It's on par with like the third act of Dragon Age 2, where the actual Mage Uprising does happen and it turns the city into a civil war. That felt very high stakes, but it's just that, but across the entire game.
Like, it does remind me a lot more of Dragon Age 1, where obviously in Dragon Age 1 you are tasked with recruiting all these people to help fight the Darkspawn, and it feels very similar where you're recruiting allies to join the Inquisition to help you fight Corypheus.
The rise of your character, though, is what confused me, because you start off as a convict and then suddenly you're the leader of the Inquisition.
Yeah, you're Jesus.
You got a glowy hand thing.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, I know, but it's so fast it happens.
Like Jesus.
I mean, if there was a giant hole in the sky and you were able to close it with your hand, I think you would kind of
yeah, but you
get
don't need to
a bit
become
of
the
a
leader
cult following
of the thing.
I don't know. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I feel like this is a little bit of a jab on kind of how religion works.
Like Jesus.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
but yeah, it is like Jesus.
I
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that. Yeah.
It's like someone does something absolutely phenomenal, amazing.
It makes even more sense when you compare it to all of my reactions to people saying, like, oh, you're the chosen one, because I just shot them down every time. I was like, nope, I don't want this.
My reaction was kind of like, maybe?
Every single time I was like, nope, I am not the chosen one. Get away from me.
It's like Life of Brian and Monty Python.
Yeah.
That's exactly what yours was. So I kind of, whenever because you have to remember, the Inquisition, both in this and in real life, was a religious thing.
Yeah, true.
So that's kind of like, it is kind of how religion works to an extent, is someone does something miraculous and people just kind of fucking leech on.
Yeah.
But I also just feel like it's storytelling. Of course you're the main character.
Yeah, it's true.
Of course your character is the one who's in charge. I don't think it would be as interesting if someone else was making all the decisions. Let's talk about your party members.
Are we going to go through every single party member?
I was tempted, but well, no.
I mean, it's not as big as previous ones, to
Dude,
be
there's
honest.
like 10 people. So, I wasn't even going to go through it. I was just going to say, I think, bar 2 for me anyway, I absolutely love all the party members. There are 2 I don't like, and fuck them. But I think,
you know what, Nick? No, Nick, let's do it. Let's go through it. Just a sentence.
Alright, hold on, I need to get a list up.
Like a sentence or 2, like, I like this person because, or I banged this person because.
Oh, this is gonna have to include the your people then, aren't they?
You're
Companions. Here we go.
Right.
Could we not just say who we romanced? Because
no, let's just do this.
That's not.
We do it every time there's a party
we do.
system. Let's just fucking do
here
it.
we go. Alphabetical order. Blackwall.
didn't use him.
He was my go-to tank, and I loved his beard.
I thought he was quite boring, though I did like his twist.
His twist is really good.
I did really like his twist.
His twist is very good. I did not see it coming as well, and it's pretty good.
We should probably say what it is, because considering we just keep
But it
saying
also
the twist.
so the twist is he's not actually Blackwall. He got Blackwall killed and took his name, so he's not actually a Grey Warden. And then it makes sense because that when you're at the Grey Warden bit, he's like, "Oh no, I don't hear the calling." Of course you don't. You're not a Grey Warden. Oh, it's genius.
And it also raises the question, like, it goes like, "Oh, the Grey Warden's disappeared, but why is he still there?"
Yeah.
Really
Oh,
good,
real
fucking,
good.
Really good story writing. Next,
Cassandra.
She was my main tank.
she was my main tank.
I didn't use her because she kept turning me down when I flirted with her. Because I was a lady.
She was my main tank, and I bucked the absolute life out of her.
Moving on to Cole. Fuck Cole.
I
Didn't like him.
love Cole.
Why?
He is by far one of the best characters in the game.
Oh, I hated him.
He is so inappropriate with everyone. It is fantastic.
But he's not inappropriate in like a good way. He's just creepy.
Not in a quirky way.
Yeah, not in like a...
It is fantastic. Having him and Cassandra in the same party is amazing. Him just listing all of Cassandra's deeds and worries to like the public is just great.
I do not like Cole, but I love his character design.
Mm.
Like his big floppy hat and him being like a meat blonde.
I
thing.
thought he was broken at first. I thought the character model had broken and that's why his hat was sticking up.
No, it's just that's the design.
I thought it was meant
love
to be
his
like
character
physics
design.
and like floppy, but
No.
no, it's just...
His character design is... It reminds me of Vivi from Final Fantasy IX.
Also,
it's awesome.
his personal quest is quite good.
I let him murder the fuck out of that guy. It was great. Alright, Dorian! I like Dorian. I like the
Did
mustache.
not use.
I also appreciate that Dorian is like... Dorian is
gay,
like...
but it's not his defining quality.
Yeah.
I love that.
I also like how his like one of his personal quests is like you have to go deal with his father who doesn't appreciate the fact that he's gay.
Yeah. No, I like that he's from Tevinter, and like, because that's a big deal in Dragon Age.
Yeah, that's like being like a Middle Eastern terrorist.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Moving
I mean, no,
on.
I'm not
Fast
wrong
and Swift.
though. No, but like I actually do like I like Dorian, but why is it always the mages that are the sarky characters?
Because they live a tough life and they gotta deflect all their issues, like me.
Anders and Dorian in the last two Dragon Age games have been the sarcastic character, and they're both mages. It's typecasting, is what it is.
Moving on to Freddie Prinze Jr., Iron Bull.
Loved him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he was amazing.
I know you probably didn't. Maybe you've seen it online. Have you seen his romance scene?
No.
Fucking go look it up.
No.
It's hilarious. It is genuinely the funniest scene in any BioWare game. I might actually just splice it in, the entirety of the scene in this. It is so funny. You should go watch it.
There we go. No Inquisition. No war. Nothing outside this room. Just you and me. So, what do you want to talk about?
Sorry to disturb your rest, Inquisitor, but our oh, sweet maker.
Cullen, how's it going?
Is the Inquisitor awake? I thought perhaps we... Oh.
This is actually, I'm so sorry.
I cannot move my legs. Is something the matter? Ah!
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Do you see this?
No.
So, I take it...
Actually, he's the one who's been taking it.
I apologize for interrupting what I assume was a momentary diversion.
Nothing wrong with having a bit of fun.
Who wouldn't be a little curious?
This was more than just a momentary diversion, and Bull and I intend to continue. Is that a problem? No.
Not at all. A surprise, I'll admit. But not a problem.
We'll leave you be.
Yes. Do enjoy yourselves.
You okay, boss?
I believe we may have blinded poor Cullen.
Moving on to Sarah. I like Sarah.
I like Sarah. I used her for a wee bit.
I thought she could be quite annoying at times, and I didn't like her because she wouldn't have sex with me because I was a dude.
Story of your life.
Yeah.
See, I liked her because I appreciate someone who's like, yeah, you're in command, but... No, like, I appreciate that she is constantly like, yeah, you're in command, but you're still a human. Like, act like it. Like, she's like, constantly like, yeah, let's go dick around.
Varric's like that?
Yeah,
though?
like, it's another reason why I like Varric, is I like the idea of these people who are like, yeah, we're keeping you grounded. Which is why I'm coming on to fuck Solus, because he sucks. Shame he's going to play such a big role in the next game.
So Solus, I didn't like Solus, yes, but I think if they go full villain with him, he would be a very good villain, actually.
Yeah, well, that is the whole thing is, yeah, Solus kind of actually is the catalyst that started the whole series of events.
Yeah.
He is an old elven god.
I think Solus will be a very good villain, but yeah, as a character, he's deadly, deadly boring. Or as a companion, he's deadly boring. However,
Yep.
I've seen all the romance scenes, because I'm a completionist like that.
The Solus is the most graphic, yeah.
If you romance him, it is absolutely heartbreaking, because obviously he leaves at the end of it. I would love it if you could carry the Inquisitor over to the next one, and then you could see her trying to like get him back to the good side.
But
or
like
something.
that's very similar to how Morgan ends up. Like if you romance her in the first one.
Yeah, but she doesn't become the bad guy. I think that's the main difference. Or like she's not particularly evil. If that
But
makes
like we
sense.
don't really know if Solus is going to be particularly evil. I don't know. I know it's implied, but
I mean, Rise of the Dread Wolf. You got Dread in the name. Feel like
sure.
you're not going to be a nice guy.
I also find Solus really annoying because literally every time I went back after a major quest, he had literally nothing to say.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
don't know. He sucked. I don't like him. Though he's not one of the two that really did my head in. Like I would still use I liked him because I appreciate a character like his lens on things because he is an elf, and obviously like he is also an elven mage, which makes him doubly fucking
Elfie.
discriminated. Moving on to Varric, the big dog.
Dude, who doesn't like Varric?
Alex.
Mate,
Oh, fuck off. How do you not like Varric?
I just find him really dull and annoying.
No, Alex, say the real reason you'd like him. Can't change his weapon.
What? No?
That was one of the first complaints you said to me about this game was, I've got this really good bow, but I can't give it to Varric.
Yeah, but that isn't because I could upgrade his weapon. Like that wasn't an issue. It's like he didn't gel with Cole or Cassandra.
Maybe you should get better choice of fucking friends then.
Actually, I thought the relationship between him and Cassandra was quite cool.
Oh yeah, the
because
relationship between him and Cassandra is great because they actually
Yeah, but
know
he's
each
not-
other.
Because like it's like a case of like she's like I must follow the rules, but like even though she's like must follow the rules, she constantly lets him break the rules. Like the bit where like he's just like Varric goes up to you, I have an old friend that wants to talk, and Cassandra's like, it better not be who I think it is, or I will fucking murder you. That's hilarious.
And then she tries to, and it's awesome.
He's no Iron Bull or Cole, so it was.
Yeah, he's better than both of them.
No, he's not. But I did enjoy the side quest of Cassandra wanting the erotic novels written.
I see. I like you don't brew down with Varric as much in this one as you do in Dragon Age 2. Like Iron Bull is your brew down buddy in this one. So Varric is a lot better in the second one. Don't get me wrong, but I still think he's great in this one.
And the final actual party member, Vivian. Fuck Vivian.
Didn't
Aye.
really care.
Absolutely
Hated
at all.
her. Hated her. Her character has like no redeeming qualities.
No.
It's
It's not even like Cassandra, you know, where like she thinks she's doing the right thing for her faith. But yeah, she's just like, no, the mages need to be enslaved and you need to do it in the most brutal way possible.
fuck Vivian. I was really hoping to piss her off enough that she would just leave, but lo and behold, she stayed around. Fuck.
The worst
fuck
bit
her.
is you can't even bang her.
I know. Well,
Like seriously? Ah.
all right, 4 advisors technically, but only 3 are listed here. That's weird. Cullen.
He's dead on.
Yeah, he's alright.
He's a dude.
He's like your kind of boring friend that you don't mind hanging out with.
Yeah.
Nick.
He's the sensible one that you have to hang around with, so your friends think you're sensible as well. Josephine, bang the fuck out of her.
Yeah, she was my romance as well.
Scissor Sisters.
She's she's
Did I
alright.
make it weird?
Yeah, no, I was just kind of like moving on. She's alright, but she was just kind of a bit like I didn't find her that interesting.
Were you
She
just
was
let
not
down by the
annoying.
romance video?
No, that didn't bother me. I don't know. It was a bit. I just find her a bit boring. She had no like. I don't know. Just
You
boring.
gotta marry into a noble family. Man.
I love the fucking duel. It's so funny.
Yeah.
And then she's just turned up and like, what the fuck are you doing? It's great. Liliana.
I was actually going to try and romance Liliana, but then I found out
Yeah, I
you
think
couldn't.
you can.
So
I like Liliana, but the only reason I like her is because of seeing how much she has changed over the last 3 games.
She became the Pope in mine.
Yeah, she became the Pope in mine. But like that's like see
Yeah,
that's
same.
like she went from like a rogue to being like in the first one a rogue, and then in the second one she was with Cassandra as a seeker, and now in the third one she become the Pope, like a spy master Pope. Like that's really cool seeing her develop.
Hey, Hans,
like
you don't know that the Pope isn't actually a spy master.
a spy
in real life.
master. True.
Well, I mean, have you seen the state of the church?
Yeah, it didn't say he's a good one.
But they make the state of the church so it's unassuming.
Mm.
So I do like Liliana, but I feel like she was the best in the first one.
I mean, Alex, right? I'll tell you how good a spy master the Pope is. You know, what's a little pedophilia to cover up the international subterfuge that they are performing on a daily basis?
You're saying that they said
They
here,
fed
guys.
the pedophilia to the fucking big media over there so they can cover up the fucking Pope and his puppet strings. Donald Trump, I'm on to you.
I,
Heard it here first, folks.
I feel like that's a hell of a stretch.
and that's a theory. A conspiracy theory.
Boom.
Matt Pat, don't sue.
Bringing down
Well, you
big
lost
business.
1.7 mil, so
Alright, the final advisor is not really listed here, but I'm going to bring it up in it. Final advisor, Morgan. I like Morgan.
I mean,
Yeah.
Morgan's Morgan. I like her, but I know she'll piss people off.
I like Morgan.
Yeah, because you know why? Because she's a MILF now.
She is a MILF. She is MILF-tastic. Because I was kind of like, you know what, hey, I know your husband's kind of away, possibly dead.
He's
What about
dead.
you?
He's dead in our world.
Oh, he is dead in our world, yeah. So I was like, hey, wanna do it again?
With the fucking weird half-dwarf baby.
Oh yeah, that's right. Every character was a
Our
dwarf.
warden was a dwarf.
I just imagine sitting there like, kill me.
He's just like a fucking gnome or something walking around. It's just like,
In my misery, life is pain.
Queen, start the reactor.
Fuck. Oh, God. I would have loved in the first conversation you go up to Morgan. So, how are we going to... What the fuck is that? Because it just walks out from behind her. Eating flowers.
Speaking
Just sitting there with a fucking handful of dirt shoveling into dude's mouth.
My dinner is delicious. Give me more, mommy. Yeah.
Why am I just picturing Cartman? Beefcake!
Fucking, that's the real abomination there. Not what came out of the field.
Oh, God. Alright, back on track. Here we go.
So speaking of Morgan, shall we discuss the choices?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, nice segue, Al.
So,
Thanks, man.
I like that we sat together and we did all these choices. I kind of wish the world felt more different.
It does, like, literally, a few lines
Yeah.
of dialogue change,
Like,
and that's
I get
about
that
it.
it's really...
Yeah.
It's probably really fucking hard to make a video game. Especially one that has to take in so many choices.
What are you talking about? You just asset flip? Hundreds and hundreds of companies do it every day now.
Yeah, just look at Steam. Like, I get it's probably really difficult to get all the choices to seem meaningful in some way, but, like, I could have closed my eyes and picked all those choices at random,
Anything.
and I wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to tell you where they changed, like, the actual world.
The only, like, to me, literally, the biggest choice that we made that actually showed there was the gender of Hawk.
Yeah, like...
Like, that was literally the only one that made you go, like, oh, yeah, fuck,
Did we not
that's...
actually pick her class as well?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but...
You see her fight a little bit, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she does. She fights, yeah, so yeah, that's right.
But,
yeah.
like,
that's it.
like
That was
that's
the biggest, thing there.
visual change, I think, in the world. Everything else kind of gets relegated
Yeah.
to, like, a simple line of dialogue.
Whoa, Nick, the biggest one? Don't forget about me, Daddy.
Please, Hans, he's the littlest one.
Oh, fuck.
Everything else kind of gets like relegated line of dialogue, which is it's all right. Like for some of them, it's fine. Like Varric at one point goes, "Oh, Fenris is gonna hate me for this." Like when he relays it back because he's like, "Oh, I have to go tell Fenris that Hawk's fucked off somewhere," and he's like, "Oh, Fenris is gonna fucking hate me." Like that stuff's fine, but like when it's like, "Oh, we like," I'm pretty sure we like destroyed the circle in the first game in our story, and like it's barely mentioned. Like, we fucking committed mass genocide on a bunch of mages. And it's like, oh, yeah, it happened.
Yeah, kind of just... It made that, half an hour we did filling that in kind of feel pointless.
Yeah.
Like, there are a few key choices, I think, that make a modicum of difference. Like, ranging from probably like, oh, is Kieran an old god baby? Or... is he just an ordinary kid, or like what Hawk was and how Hawk ended up? But like, yeah,
is Alistair king?
Yeah, like stuff like there's probably I'd say a handful to a dozen of major choices that we could have made, and the rest were just all right, fuck it.
But like those choices could have been made in like, is it Mass Effect 2 where they do like a comic book strip?
Yeah, when Mass Effect 2 came out on PS3 for the first time, like it was like, oh, we have this like wee digital comic that takes like half an hour to do. And let you do like the big changes, or that makes the big choices in Mass Effect. That
to me would have been much more fulfilling than sitting in and clicking a couple of boxes for a couple of lines of dialogue.
And like I get that, like there are probably some people who are way into that and wanted their specific world, but it didn't feel worth it. Anything else about the story of characters? What about you, Kieran?
I thought it was great.
Oh, did you pick the mages?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I'm sorry, but the Templars, it was a really dumb choice to kind of like introduce them both, because clearly one is good and one is evil.
See, I brought this up talking to DIY as well, where I feel like this is always an issue in a lot of BioWare games, and it feels like there is always an overtly good option and an overtly bad option. Like, especially like I'll go back to in the first game where you're like, oh, how do we deal with the outbreak of abominations at the Mage Tower? You're like, oh, we help the mages do the reasonable thing, or we murder them all. Who's going to pick the murder them all option?
Unless you're a real cunt.
Yeah, unless your purpose of being like, I want to be the dickiest character possible.
Yeah, like, because they introduce the Templars as they walk into Orlais or Valroyo, and one of them literally punches a preacher in the face. So, like, that's your, like, so that's the good guys, clearly. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's bad, and when I was chatting to DIY about it, I went back to the idea of The Witcher 3 and how it handled choices really well. So obviously, they do set up like things that are always like overtly bad choices and overtly good choices. And when I was discussing this with DIY, my main comparison was something like The Witcher 3 does this far better, where like rather than always something that like there's probably good and bad choices in The Witcher 3, but a lot of the choices are morally grey or morally grey.
Like, and the thing as well about The Witcher 3 is that if it is a bad choice, they'll usually kind of like weigh up the options with, it's a bad choice, but it's easier. Yeah. Or you can have the good choice, but it's more difficult. Do you know, it's that sort of thing.
But yeah, it just feels like that's not really the case in this. Like, it never feels like, as far as like, oh, you pick the mages who are being kind of mind controlled, or the Templars who are just dicks, or you've got save the Grey Wardens or murder the Grey Wardens. And you're like, why is that a choice? I know.
It's like, save the Grey Wardens or kill them. You know, the heroes from the first game.
The choices are bad, and I think this is nothing new for BioWare games, but when almost every choice feels overtly black and white, it's kind of sucky.
Like, do you know what was a good choice in a previous one?
Who to bang?
No.
Oh.
In Dragon Age 2, after Anders blows up the Chantry, because he's like, it's like the end of Act 2, and like, you know, it blows up, and you're like, right, he's my best, he's like a friend, he's a friend, and technically he's a terrorist. Should I kill him? But, because he has done evil and he's cost lives, but you can understand why he's done it, because the mages,
they are oppressed,
treated as slaves. Do you know, that's a really good, morally grey choice to have.
And it's also, Oh, I love in Mass Effect 2, especially, they were really good about having knock-on effects. Like, if you were like, alright, Anders, you've done this, but you know what, like, that's fine, like, I forgive you. Like, other members of your party are like, no, fuck Anders, and, like, leave.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I think that's stuff that is kind of missing from this, is every choice feels so isolated that and never really has a knock-on effect.
Other than it pops up saying such and such disapproves or approves of this action.
Like, and I'm sure, like, if you probably get someone to disapprove enough, they probably will leave. Yeah. But, like, it feels like that's so easy to offset by saying minor things to them in a conversation. Rather than, right, like, in Dragon Age 2 where it was like, alright, you save Anders, you're losing certain members of your party because they are fucked off with you.
Yeah. I mean, they did that in Dragon Age Origins as well.
Yeah, they do.
You had Winry, and if you were like, no, we're going to kill the mages, Winry was like, well, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm not being a part of this, and then we'll fight you.
And with the ashes as well, you could choose to desecrate them. As like Liliana's like, no, you can't do that.
This felt like the real one where the choices felt a lot less consequential.
Yeah. Anything else with story and characters?
No, I'm happy enough.
So yes, the final section, as I touched on, was, I think, maybe a week after we recorded, they had the Game Awards, which is Jeff Keighley's annual Game Awards, which are, at this point, like, a big hub for new announcements, and they teased a new Dragon Age game with a brief, like, 40 second trailer, which simply consisted of the red lyrium idol, as a close-up, and slowly zoomed out to show kind of old-style art drawings of Solus and the Dreadwolf, with Solus saying, I think it's a line he also says in the DLC, is like, oh, so you finally found me, I'm sure you have questions. I think he says that in the DLC as well, but this is a new voice recording of it, because he sounds a lot older. So, obviously, this is probably them saying, yeah, we're making a 4th Dragon Age game. And I posed a question to you, is what do you want to see from the next Dragon Age game? Now that we've played the most recent one, and kind of discuss its negatives and its positives.
Vagina.
You just want straight fucking in the next one?
Yeah, Witcher level gratuitous sex scenes. We've seen tits, that's good, but we need to go next level, Nick. We need to go a level deeper. We need some full-on bush.
Jesus. I'm sure there's a mod for that.
Nick, there's a mod for everything. Especially when it comes to sex. Multiple sexual partners as well.
Oh, threesomes.
Yeah.
There we go. But for me anyway.
Dick. Just...
I think you just want to play a sex game, not Dragon Age.
Guess what I'm thinking?
So it does seem like for me anyway, this seems like this almost feels like the most direct follow-up to a Dragon Age game they've done so far. Like, going from 1 to 2, obviously it was a completely different character in a completely different region, and 3 kind of feels like a slight knock-on of 2, in so much that there was a teaser at the end of it for it. But this almost feels like this is a direct continuation of who Solus is and why he did what he did. I want to see... Obviously, they're kind of making a big deal about... And the end of this one kind of teases... Or towards the end of this one, they also say that, like, oh, here's Flemeth, and she's actually an elven god. And obviously, Solus is also an elven god. I want to see the whole world shatter when it's like, yeah... The Maker's not real. Elven gods are. Get fucked. And be like, alright, fuck the church. And just burn it all. Like, I want to see them, like, really lean into the whole idea of, like, yeah, like, elves are... Or elves... No, it sounds harsh, but, like, elves are right. Like, your fucking false god can go do one.
It also, it's cool as well, because it means the Inquisition has no power.
Yeah.
Like, because it's under the Chantry.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool to see that what happens to the Inquisition. Will it fall apart because it's got no real leader now? Or does it become like almost like a militia?
Yeah.
Kinda.
I'd also like to see this go towards like Tevinter in the world.
Yeah.
Like go to more places we haven't seen yet. Obviously Orlais in this one was quite a big deal. I'd like to see them go towards Tevinter and see what that's like.
Yeah, I'd be on board with that.
I'd also like to see them kind of try and mix up the actual core gameplay a bit, because I feel like there's been very minor evolutions in the gameplay and combat, and I'd like to see them kind of do something a bit more drastic with it in the next one.
Alex, what about you, mate?
Indicators to tell you when your party members have a new conversation.
Yes! Fuck! Why did they drop that? They have that in Mass Effect. Oh! You just annoyed me now. Fuck!
Worst game of Game Club.
Especially like, because fucking Haven and Skyhold are so big as well. It's such a pain in the ass.
Oh shit, I forgot to say something.
Well, say it then.
See the Fall of Haven? Like that whole like scene where like the Templars come over the hill and stuff. That is one of my favorite moments / levels in any video game I've ever played. Because it is so epic. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. Like where you see like the soldiers, like the lights of the soldiers in the distance, and like they're marching over the hills, and like you're lulled into a false sense of security because you're like, you've obviously closed the rift in the sky, and you're like, oh well, the game's not over yet, obviously, but you're kind of like, it's a good point, you know, and then it's just like, brrr, and then you're like, fucking, we're gonna lose shit, and then like the dragon comes, and it's just
like the reveal of like the pseudo archdemon is pretty cool.
Just all of it, that entire bit, like the Fall of Haven, is just epic. It's so memorable. That like for my first playthrough, which apparently is 5 years ago, that's the one thing I remember vividly is that section. But sorry, that's for gameplay or story.
You edit in where you want to edit it in, Hans.
Or don't.
Just leave it there. So overall, I do not think Inquisition is better than Origins. I will hold my opinion solid on that. I think it maybe falters a bit in being a bit too simplified in the combat side of things, where Origins was a lot more in depth and probably required a lot more thought behind a lot of the combat. But I do think story-wise and character-wise, I think this is better than Origins, but I just don't think it's as fun to play, which, unfortunate for a BioWare game, it still boils down to how much fun I am having playing it. But that aside, this is still a great story. There are great characters, they are memorable, and I'm excited to see what comes from the next Dragon Age game. Hans?
Yeah, I still think it's a very, very good game. If I remember correctly, I did think it was possibly a Game of the Year contender when I first played it. Story is probably one of the best Dragon or BioWare's ever written. Definitely in terms of just the scale of it all. Combat is a bit meh, but definitely not shit, not a detraction in any way, you know, just it could be better. So yeah, I would recommend this game 100%.
Alex?
I would recommend it with the loot animation turned off.
With the caveat of...
Because, let me tell you, I did not spend 74 hours looting corpses and plants and other various objects, because that animation sucks ass.
It's so long.
It really is too long.
It's like literally if you just bent down single-handed, went bloop, picked it up. But it's like
that annoyed me
rummages.
The most was there's literally plants hanging off trees and cliffs, and you still bend down and rummage on the ground to lift them.
See, I think it's compounded by the fact that there is so many like minerals and plants around the place to pick up. So you just notice if it was just bodies and stuff, I don't think it would be that bad.
No, yeah, no. There's some big fights that are just so great.
It's the fact there is like you can stand in one place and ping and see about a dozen like elf fruit and shit around you to pick up, and we're like, oh, that's so many animations.
How strong must the Inquisitor be if he can rip out iron ore from the rocks with his bear?
I'm more thinking, how fucking shredded must his quads and thighs be from all the squatting he's doing picking things up?
Oh, he squats, bro. He squats.
But yeah, no. Get that mod. Play it. It's a good game.
All in all, positive thoughts all around. But we've one final piece of business to attend to before we wrap up. Alex, February, what we playing?
You already know, Nick.
Yeah, we do, but we're going to pretend we don't.
We have to do the skit.
Okay. The Council? Is that what I picked?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, we're playing the Council.
Sweet.
That's a weird way to say Kingdom Hearts 3.
Some of us don't own...
You wanna fill us in on what the console is and why we're playing it?
It's a game, and therefore we play it.
Great host as always, Alex.
Yeah, no worries.
Fucking beacon of charisma.
I can't remember. Oh, it's it's along the same vein as Telltale games and Life is Strange in that you pick choices, And,
Great,
yeah,
more
it's
choice and
episodic.
consequences. Awesome, fantastic.
But you get, I think at the start of the game, you get to pick like traits and stuff, which can take you down different avenues of conversation.
Is there any game series nowadays that hasn't introduced choice and consequences in some fashion?
Kingdom Hearts.
And I think
you don't know
there's,
that yet, Nick.
for the council, there's like a lot of historical figures in it as well.
Alright, so join us at the end of February, where we're playing the console.
You
My
out there,
daddy
Nick?
had a stroke.
For now, it is goodbye from Alex.
Have a good one, everybody.
Shut up, Karen. Goodbye from Alex.
Bye.
And goodbye from me. See you next time.
Spay and neuter your
You're weird dwarf half baby.
protagonists.